My name is Vivian Jones Schmidt. For the past 3 years, I've been teaching first grade for the Lotus Ivy Waldorf-inspired virtual homeschool program. Before that, I taught in-person classes, mostly in Waldorf schools, but also in local public schools. So I guess you could say that I've been around the block as a teacher. At Lotus Ivy, we do get questions and concerns from parents. And two of the most frequent ones are, how can you possibly teach the Waldorf curriculum and method online? And what would Rudolf Steiner think of your program? We think that these are reasonable and important questions, and I am planning to address them, starting with the second question. What would Rudolf Steiner think about teaching the Waldorf program online? Well, of course, we can never know what he would think. And I imagine that every Waldorf teacher and parent has a different opinion based on their experience and study of Steiner's work. So here's my opinion. I'm going to go back to the foundations of Waldorf education. By 1919, 1 year after the end of World War I, which had devastated Europe and killed or wounded millions of people, Rudolf Steiner was traveling around Europe, lecturing on the need for social renewal. One man who attended those lectures was Emil Molt, who was the director of the Waldorf Astoria cigarette factory in Stuttgart, Germany. Molt believed that social renewal had to begin with the education of children. After a lecture in April 1919, he asked Steiner if there was an approach to education that would foster social renewal and help future generations to avoid war. Steiner's response was Waldorf education. Molt asked him to implement such a school for the children of the workers in his factory. And the school opened in September 1919 with over 200 children. 7 years later, it had 1,000 children. I've recited this history to make the point that to Rudolf Steiner, Waldorf education was vital to the survival of human civilization. He foresaw the increasing individualism that today, among other things, has led some parents to want to educate their children at home. For some families, attending a Waldorf school is not possible because of finances or distance. And I would guess that for families who come to Lotus and Ivy already knowledgeable about Waldorf education, this is a primary motivator. Other families may not be familiar with Waldorf education, and they will have other reasons for coming to Lotus and Ivy. I believe that no matter what the motivation, Rudolf Steiner would support the Lotus and Ivy program. And one strong reason for that is that I work with these people. I work with Sarah and Heather and the other faculty members, and I know how serious we are about bringing Waldorf education to the children. We all believe that this education can help human beings learn to respect one another and work together toward peaceful societies. So how do we approach this serious and important task in an online classroom? Waldorf teachers, of course, are responsible to a standard curriculum, but in a Waldorf school, the most important aspect of the curriculum is the children themselves. We teach the child, and our approach to the subject matter evolves out of that relationship. In this regard, online teaching does not differ significantly from in-person teaching. Each child is warmly welcomed into the classroom, where the teachers make it clear that they are interested in that child, in each child. Being interested in another person might just be the first step toward loving that person. We find that we love our virtual students just as much as we love our in-person students. And moreover, they seem to love us in return. When it comes to the details of classwork, our time in virtual classes is limited because we do not want the students to spend hours on their computers. Each class begins with a specially chosen movement, speech, and singing exercises that bring the class together and give the teacher a glimpse into how each child relates to their physical body. We then review the previous lesson, work in our books, and listen quietly to the next lesson. Each class thus fulfills the Waldorf approach to the whole person, thinking in the review, feeling in the artistic work, and doing in the book work. We teachers present the essence of each lesson, giving assignments that complement and complete the week's work. Parents are expected to supervise and implement these assignments so that their children can take full advantage of our program. After all, a homeschool program is not only at home, it is also school, and it requires a partnership between teachers and families. In conclusion, we at Lotus and Ivy thank you for your questions and for your interest in our program. Your children are very precious. Thank you for considering us as your partners in educating and caring for them.